So if you had a child and they were getting teased at school for having big ears, would you let them have surgery on the ears to make them look more normal or to fit in more at school, to help them not be teased for standing out with their big ears? So over the last few weeks, this topic has come up on the JLB member calls because there's been some very different opinions on this matter. There are some people who say no. Whatever the kid is dealing with, getting bullied for having big ears, or for having crooked teeth, or for having a mole on the side of their head or something, whatever the kid is dealing with and being teased for, well, that is their cross to bear. They have to learn to deal with getting teased and they have to love themselves for who they are. Some people even say this is God's plan. Whatever troubles you face, even as a child, this is God's plan. It's part of the reason that you're here. This is some kind of test to see if you are strong enough, or it's like a school, I suppose, like a soul school. So the troubles that you face, they're there for a reason. You have to suffer through this thing. You have to learn through this thing and get better. That's one side of the equation. There are other people saying that this is tantamount to child abuse, and any parent who would want their children to suffer through something that is easily fixed, that parent probably is a bad parent. I'm boiling down the arguments that are being put forward. These things that I'm saying are not exactly what is being said, but you get the basic idea here. On the one hand, there are people who say, yes, you can intervene with quote-unquote nature for the benefit of the child so they don't get teased at school and all the problems that come with that. And on the other side are people who are saying, no, you shouldn't intervene at all. The children are made this way for a reason, and if they're getting teased at school, well, no big deal, they'll get over it. That's basically the two sides of the equation. And Dante from New York has left an explosive comment relating to the most recent episode where this topic came up again. So I want to read to you this comment in full, verbatim, and I want you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this question? Of course, if you're not familiar with the JLB member call format, basically what we do every Saturday is myself and anybody else who's on the JLB Discord who wants to come along. We have a conversation for hours, and I record about 90 minutes. So we're on the record for 90 minutes, and we do it all somewhat formally. I'm like, let me introduce everybody. Here is this person from this place. Here's this person from that place. I'm John the Bond from beautiful Plovdiv, Bulgaria. And then I throw usually to Sarah. She's kind of like the quasi-hostess. And then we talk about whatever we want for an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. Then we go off the record and it's much more relaxed. And again, we talk about whatever we want, but it's a lot less formal in the off the record section. So the point is, lots of different topics come up. And for some reason, the last few weeks, this one seems to have gotten, I would almost say, a little bit heated. As I explained to you, between the leave the kids alone and let them get teased at school, big deal, that crowd, and the no, if you can, make minor alterations such as pinning back the ears or letting the kids get braces or whatever, you should do that because it's not very nice for a kid to be different at school. I mean, this is a classic example. This kid probably going to get teased for having big ears. This kid, probably not. It's the same kid, just with a relatively minor alteration. So the point is, we discuss all kinds of things on the member calls. For some reason, this has been one of the main topics the last couple of weeks. We've also been talking a lot about AI on the last few episodes. But basically, anything can come up. Media fakery, history fakery, science fakery, how we live our lives, hypotheticals about what we might do if we were raising a child in this world as it is today. And sometimes it's not even a hypothetical. There was a person on the last call who actually has had children. And from her testimony, it sounds like she kind of did just tell her kids to suck it up and put up with whatever teasing. It's just a blip in their life or something like this. Anyway, the next call is tomorrow being a Saturday, of course. So I'll put a link in the pinned comment below for the information about that. If you would like to come and join us either for the on the record part or the off the record part, or for both, you can do whatever you like. If you're on the JLB server, you're welcome to come and join us.
Sure, I get it.
So last week's episode, I called this one Foreign Objects, and the topics included fakeology, online communities, AI friends, and ethics. And the ethics there was to do with parenting. What is ethical parenting? And as you can see there, we were joined by Siege, Edwin, Joey, Linda, and Susie. And one of the topics that came up was again to do with this. Is it right to intervene with so-called nature? Now, Dante left a comment earlier today, and this is what I wanted to make this video about. I want to read this to you, and I want your thoughts. Once you've heard this, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we get to that, I want to say a big thanks to AP from Darwin and Edwin from Scotland, who both sent through generous tips to your main man John Le Bon from beautiful Plovdiv, Bulgaria. I didn't ask for this or put out a request. They just sent these tips through of their own volition, probably because they appreciate the work that I've done this year and what I'm trying to do with johnlebon.com, which is present my research, what I've come up with, look at what other people are saying, why they're saying it, what's the evidence to support it, can I debunk them, or is what they're saying true, publish my articles, publish the podcast, publish the videos, and then have these member calls and get different people's opinions on different things. And I've produced a ton of content this year, and apparently both AP from Darwin and Edwin from Scotland appreciate it. So thanks to both of you for the Christmas tips, very much appreciated.
It is awesome.
And of course, a big thanks to all the people who make what I do possible by supporting what I do, either as members of johnlebon.com or of Bonversations or of the JLB Patreon or whatever they're doing. Everyone who supports what I do, thank you all very much.
That'd be awesome.
Now let's get on to Dante's comment then. So he wrote this: noobs need to be mindful of who is speaking so as to not talk over them. Basic group chat etiquette. Rarely adhered to on Fakeologist, but this isn't Fakeologist, folks. No excuse, not even alcohol abuse. And that's in relation to the fact that we had a couple of visitors on last week's call who were from fakeologist.com, and they did speak over each other and the rest of the group a little bit, probably because they were excited to be there on a JLB member call, and also because they're not used to the more, I don't want to say formal, but we have a different energy and vibe at johnlebon.com. The member calls are a place for people to come and say what they want to say and ask what they want to ask and discuss what they want to discuss. And we have a slightly higher bar of etiquette, I would suggest, than what you'll find over on fakeologist.com. And so I think that's what Dante is speaking in regards to there. The noobs need to be mindful of who's speaking so as to not talk over them. But I was happy with the visitors last week. Thank you to Linda and to Susie who came along and joined the call. I thought it was a good episode for a bunch of reasons. But there was a little bit of talking over one another, which Dante has picked up on. Anyway, let's put that aside. Let's move on to Dante's commentary on the main topic at hand here. He says, as for part 2 of the ignoble folks and their hypothetical children, aptly titled, and then he gives a paraphrase of the argument, until they're the arbitrary age of 18, I will invoke God to support my position because it's so silly on face, even a redact could eviscerate it. Now, this is in relation to how one of the people who have been party to these conversations the last couple of weeks, their argument seemed to be that if the kid has big ears, for example, then that is God's plan, so don't take them to a doctor or to a surgeon to get the ears pinned back. This is God's plan. They want the kid to suffer at school and be teased for being Dumbo. It's God's plan. So that's what Dante's talking in relation to. But that's not the only argument that's been given as to why you should not let the child have the ears corrected, if we can use that term. One of the arguments was that's how God made them, leave them that way. Another argument is they need to learn to deal with it if they're being teased for the big ears, or if they're being teased for the mole on the side of their head, or if they're being teased for the crooked teeth, whatever it is. That's just part of learning that in this world people will tease you for everything. So you have to toughen up. And then there's another argument that's been put forward of they have to learn to love themselves, whatever they are. I'm explaining this because it's not like the only argument that's been put forward for not letting the kids have their ears corrected is because of God. That's one argument. Another is they need to learn to toughen up, even if they're being teased mercilessly at school. And another argument is they have to love themselves, whoever they are, whatever they are. So there's a bunch of different arguments going on here. Dante's responding to the God one. Anyway, he goes on with this. I'll hopefully conclude with this. Kids in school are cruel. If you think your creator prescribes public humiliation as a sordid test to help his little creations, to what? Love themselves? Toughen up? Perhaps you sadistically enjoy bathing your righteousness in the tears of your hypothetical children, but this doesn't land well on any eye test. So your theological gymnastics score is piss poor. Such arrogance to conscript an alleged creator's values to justify a child's often daily suffering, a child that looks up to their parent for protection. What's next? Would you gleefully watch them get swept away by a riptide at the beach? Oh well, learn how to swim, little chap. That's just the nature of narrow currents. Your indifference is staggering, but I also don't think it's genuine. Because when was the last time any of you folks who believe God has a plan for character building via tormenting and group exclusion, when did you last volunteer to be teased and traumatized for spiritual growth? Perhaps here, in which case I'm happy to be a shepherd of shame. Boy, oh boy, wowee. So this has brought out a bit of passion from our old friend Dante from Mexico. He used to be Dante from New York. Now he's, of course, Dante from Mexico. And from now on, I might call him the shepherd of shame. Dante, the shepherd of shame from Mexico. Goodness gracious me. Of course, Dante is the man who was immortalized with that infamous line with regards to nobody died, nobody got hurt in these wars.
With regard to nobody died, nobody got hurt in these wars.
So anyway, folks, you've heard Dante's comment. So he is commenting about the people who say if they had a child who looked like this, they would want the child to remain like this, even though you could easily have a minor surgery to make the ears look less Dumbo style. And of course, you can get the surgery done when you're an adult. So here's another example. Here is a lady with ears that kind of protrude a little bit. And as you can see here, the ears do not protrude as much anymore.
No, I get it. I do get it.
I got it. I get it.
And I know that BM Seattle will say, well, in this photo, she's wearing more makeup, so she looks better just because of the makeup. Yes. However, you can see, even putting aside the rest of her face, you can see quite a significant difference in the ears. And probably she had this surgery done because she felt the ears didn't look good and it made her self-conscious. And now she can be less self-conscious. Of course, the children don't get the same choice. It's up to the parents, isn't it? So if the parents decide, nope, little Billy, you have to put up with being called Dumbo, then that's what's going to happen. Whereas if the parents say, well, little Billy, if it means that much to you, we can go and have the surgery done and your ears will be pinned back and now the kids will not call you Dumbo anymore. So I think you get the general gist of the discussion that's going on here. Of course, this is all stemmed from the member calls over at johnlebon.com, which we have another one coming up tomorrow. I'll link to the information for that in the pinned comment below.
I mean, I get it.
I want your thoughts, folks. What do you think about all of this? Leave your comments below. And if you have appreciated these kinds of thought-provoking videos this year, I've published dozens of them for free here on YouTube, and I've published dozens of podcasts for free via the Podbean, which you can access via Spotify. I've released a ton of public content, and a lot of people leave comments saying that they enjoy the content. If you would like to leave a Christmas tip, as did AP from Darwin and Evan from Scotland, I'll leave a link to the relevant information in the pinned comment below as well.
I love you, John LeBon. I do, brother.
I love you too, John LeBon.
So a big thank you to all the people who've been turning up on the member sessions. Hope to see you guys tomorrow or on the 27th for the final call of the year. Big thank you to Dante for his comment.
With regard to nobody died, nobody got hurt in these wars.
And a thanks in advance to any of you who do leave your comments below in the comment section below. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
JohnLeBon.com. First hour is free. He's the world's greatest skeptic.
I like the very skeptical John LeBon who asks, why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
I'm going to DM him saying I'm going to punch him if he fucking ever comes in my presence if he does that again.
So this place here, the JLB universe, is the cream of the cream.